Hi Clinton,
Hi,
welcome to Sudeep Audio's channel.
thank you. Okay, I came from a very non-musical background as such because my family is very academic, very academically oriented. Mom's a French professor. Dad's retired, but I mean both are retired. Dad used to work in Larsen and Toubro, and uh, so when I was going to take up music, it was like something that I had not decided to uh, until really like long, just after college. While I was in college, I would bunk lectures and try and go for recordings whenever I got the chance to. But uh, I think the first time I actually decided that I wanted to was when I had a conversation with uh, with two people, actually, one of whom is now my wife, but we were just friends back then. And the other one is Asif Ali Beg, who's a lyricist and singer, lyricist. Um, and we were just coming home from something. We were a big gang, used to hang out and stuff like that. So we were just coming home one day, and they asked me, "What do you want to do with your career? How do you see yourself 10 years from now?" And I was going to do my MBA at that point. And I bought my books for my MBA entrance exam, and I was I was studying for that CAT and all that stuff. I don't know what I was doing studying for that, but I remember trying to make an attempt to do that, and I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do management." I decided to do management. Um, so Asif said, "You know how I see you in 10 years?" He said, "I see you wearing a terracotta shirt and a tie, and getting on your bike from Mahim to Nariman Point, and fighting traffic at 9 in the morning, and doing the same thing again at 6 in the evening." you know. So do you want to live like that for the next 40 years? So I said, that kind of shocked me a bit, and I said, "You know what, I'm not like a desk job kind of person. And that's when I kind of made that switch in my head, and I decided, bus ho gaya. I got my first class in my BCom, and now this
That's it.
is yeah. I don't think I want to study further. I just want to do music. And I think that was like kind of the pivotal point in which I decided that music is actually for me, because it's, I mean, people had started giving me confidence that I could make it. From whatever work I was doing, I was getting a positive response from a lot of people. So one thing led to another, and then
Right. Um, did you face, today I can end up meeting a lot of people who say, I'm a singer, please give me an opportunity, or please put me in touch with people you know, etc. etc. There's always a struggle period that everybody goes through. These are tough times.
yeah.
Any person who starts off in any career, any line. Was that also a phase that you faced?
Yeah, actually, but I have to say that I've been lucky enough, not to have sent my demo to anyone, because uh, kind of word of mouth, things started happening in a way. But at the same time, I did pay my dues, and be I was never really looking to be a singer at that point, but I was a singer first. I started off as a singer in the industry, and started singing jingles for for Ihsan and Loy, like, a lot. I loved working with them back then. Um, for Ranjit Barot, Louis Banks, Les Lewis, all the guys, Shiv Mathur, all the guys who were doing commercials at that point of time. And somehow I don't think I had that versatile a voice for me to be a successful jingle singer. Because you have to sing different styles. You have to be like, sing a rock jingle one day, and then do a completely Bollywood jingle the other day, and then sing. So I think I was like inexperienced, and not only that, I was not that, I was not that dedicated as a singer, because I wanted to be a producer and a programmer very much back then. I wanted to be a composer and a producer and a programmer. So I started investing in a few things, and like bought some gear, bought an XP80, the first keyboard I bought. Took a loan from Dominic to buy that keyboard, and then bought a 760 from Les second hand, stuff like that. So and then I would at that point I would do a singing job and I would like sing for an hour, and I would make 4,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees. But that was not really interesting for me at that point, because I didn't want to. I was more keen on making money off all the equipment I had bought, and I wanted to make some money from programming and from production and everything. So I would leave all this. I would leave the singing jobs if I had a programming job. Although the programming job was like we'd get paid 3,000 rupees and work for 3 days, but it was still more important to me at that point. And then I met a few nice people along the way, and somewhere one thing led to another, and then AR happened. AR Rahman. I mean, he heard my work, and you know that's when I used to go to Chennai a lot. In the that first like slightly early phase, around 97, 98. I used to stay there for a long time. Like to go there three, 4 times a month, and just stay there for like 8 days, 10 days, and just keep working on whatever stuff he had. He used to have like 4 background scores happening at one time and things like that. He was just going through an insane phase of work at that point. So there was always a need for extra hands around and people who are musical. And he tends to put his trust in people who he thinks are worth it and who can bring something to his projects. So uh, I mean, after I used to work in Chennai, I started working a lot here as well. I started doing a lot of vocal arrangements for people, and especially Ranjit Barot, and Ranjit was working a lot with Anu Malik and Ismail Darbar that time. So all the Bollywood films back then, I started doing vocal arrangements, and then SCL, once SCL started doing all their big films, I started working with them as well, and you know. So yeah, that's pretty much been the journey, and then like production happened, then Vishal Bhardwaj happened. So I mean, it's kind of been one thing leading to another, and before you know it, you realize it's been like 16 years that I've been doing this for. It's like you just do a double take and you realize, wow, it's
You
just
never
so
felt
much
that,
time has gone by.
yeah, you never felt that 9 to 6 kind of a thing ever.
Yeah, I know. I've
Yes.
never gone back to that. I
But
think
yeah.
one of the most like crazy phases was when I met Juku. Who you guys have interviewed earlier on, and uh, he, I think, was really responsible for me learning how to read film, because I still remember. It's crazy when I tell you this figure, but uh, from the year 2000 is when I started working with him. I mean, I used to work with him a little bit in 99, but sporadically, like just once in 4 or 5 months he would call me when he didn't have anybody else or whatever. And I don't think we had formed a relationship yet. But I think by 2000, I feel I was like in terms of my own level of production, I felt ready to work with him, and I remember Kunal spoke to him about me and said you should try working with Clinton. Kunal Ganjawala.
Hmm.
So I met Juku a few times and said let's do some work together and whatever, and then we started working together, and it was crazy because he was working with only me then, and from the middle of 2000 to 2002, which is when I got married, in that year and a half we did 500 ad films.
Wow.
It's like I mean I still remember because of I mean I have the I could only remember because of the bill books. My bill books were just getting bigger and bigger. Like shit, I've done so much work in a year and a half. It was crazy because it was like uh, I just never that was like going to school and getting paid for it, that phase, because every morning at 11 in the morning we'd be in another studio, we'd be seeing a new film, and we'd be done by like 6, and then 6 to 7 we'd start another film. Usually we do 2 or sometimes we do 1 a day, but it was like it was every day it was solid, and every day I would be back at 3, 4 in the morning, and that phase was was like really hardcore. It was really hardcore in terms of everything, in terms of just experiencing the industry full on, so I think that was like a really interesting milestone.
Right. When you work with people from outside the city, for example, A.R. Rahman, who's in Chennai now with technology in place, do you get the tracks into your studio, or do you have to still go there? And
No,
work,
actually, Skype has made it a lot easier, especially for someone like AR who's like always so busy.
and all over the
Yeah,
place?
he's all over the place. He's like in LA half the time. And yeah, now we for the last 2 3 years, I think we've worked on Skype completely.
Oh.
You know, I've hardly met him, but we've always on Skype. So you know,
So, what kind of brief do you get? So, is it specific to the entire song or parts of song or the
actually,
song?
with AR, it's really open because you know the thing is I'm so used to working with him now because I've uh, been working with him since after Tal, you know, since after Tal, since Takshak, so which was like a quite a long time ago, you know, I think over 10 years. So uh, uh, he has this thing of like you know not being there when you sometimes when you just need a brief or you just need. I mean, you know, he just trusts you completely to you know just do something good on it, you know. So very often I ask the engineer something, can I speak to Rahman once before I start the song before so he can just at least tell me what I need to do on it, and usually he makes himself available. But there have been times when I've gone to Chennai and I've reached Chennai and found out that he's in London or something, and then you know the engineer would play me the track and uh, I would be okay. What do I have to do on this? So he would just shrug his shoulders and do
What
whatever
do you
you
want?
whatever basically. So I would call some singers in, some friends from Chennai, and like do some vocal parts, or do if I it needed a little a little bit of like additional programming, I would do that, and then I would meet him like a month later on some other song or something, and I would ask him, did you hear that? Yeah, that's gone. It's gone for mix, so it's fine. That was good. That was good. So it'd be like, if you don't hear from him, it's always good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Working with different, I mean, I would say departments or say commercials and then films.
yeah.
Songs also, background score also. So when you approach an ad and you approach a full feature film, do you think the pressures are different in both of these? Because you've been working in both for a long time now.
Yeah, actually, the thing about it is good. Because I have my feet in two boats. It's nice because I'm like really sick of advertising. I've had it up to here with advertising. I do a like film project for a while, and then same thing with film. I do I keep switching because also it's very different in terms of the logistics of how you approach each project. Because with ads it's very micro. You just need to you need to just like delve into every bar, and there's so much of importance in every bar, because it's whatever it's like your piece is over in 20 bars or 30 bars, at a fast tempo.
Okay.
If it's slower, then it's like 12 bars and you're done, if it's a 30 seconder. So I mean, you just have to really carefully think out. There's no time for an intro and like a build up, and you just have to come to the point immediately and just convey what the director wants you to convey. Whereas film, of course, is much longer format, so you get to experiment, you get to do stuff, and especially when you're working with a director who really appreciates what you bring, like someone like Vishal Bhardwaj, for example, who just completely enjoys the amalgamation of something modern with something folky, and something that's new to even him, with something that's he's so used to, you know. It's a completely different space. You get your time to explore, but at the same time, where both are similar is that you're always catering to a brief, whether it's a product or whether it's a film, whether it's a script. You're always the film always wins. You have to make sure that you're always letting the film be the important factor, and not your music. So even in advertising, it's the same thing. You just have to make sure that because if you've done a fabulous track but it's not going by the film, doesn't make any sense. So I think both are similar in that respect. It's not so much about self-expression as it's about doing something that makes the audio married to the visual. You know, and within that, if you can find self-expression, then it's great, because that's what it's about.
You've given a lot of super hit songs for films like Omkara or other films with your co-producer and friend Hitesh Soni.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when two people work, you bring in a lot of Western music to the, plate as we say, or to the table, and he comes with Indian influences. Is that how it works?
Well,
So
not really. Actually, Hitesh is a crazy guy because he's a fabulous musician and he's like the most. He comes up with the most unexpected arrangement ideas. In fact, when I was working with him first, it took me some time to get used to it because uh, I was so used to working alone, always have been, and I've always been, uh, master of my own vision as far as production and all is concerned. But when it came to working on Vishal Bhardwaj's stuff, Hitesh has been working with him much longer than I have. So I had to have that trust in his ability to read what Vishalji would like on a song, and that took a little getting used to initially because we both have very strong ideas. I think we're both capable musicians in our own right. So when we both come together, somebody has to captain the ship, right? And you can't have two captains going in opposite directions. So we would have this arrangement that I would completely defer to what he thought because I just totally respect his style and his sense so much that it was not a problem for me to do that because I think when we decided to do that, and we came to that understanding between us, I think we hit like a zone, which was quite unexpected and quite we would like we would do some pretty interesting things within that zone, so it's I think it's about and not necessarily that he would have Indian ideas and I would have sometimes I would come up with like an Indian solo line or and sometimes very often like if I was playing I would come up with a guitar line, for example on Sakur Maaf Suraj sings Dil Dil Hai, it's got that riff, which is and I came up with that riff, but I just couldn't play it because it was like it was really quick and and Hitesh played that riff with so much feel and so much expression, and it's a perfect example of how we both work in together to consolidate one idea.
you've been singing a lot these days in a lot of films, and many of your songs have become very popular, from Wake Up Sid to even now Kahani. As a singer, do you take any special care for your voice? And
This is a constant source of this thing between my wife and me because my wife always thinks it's so unfair because I have anything cold, I have stuff with ice, I have like whatever the hell I want and nothing happens. I smoke cigars sometimes and nothing happens to my voice. But she have one sip of something cold and she's down for like 3 days. So yeah, but I don't at all. I don't take care of my
are there
voice.
any vocal exercises that you need to know?
No.
Nothing.
I mean, I'm not. The thing is that I just think that for me it's just about expression and it's about how you can deliver a melody, you know, and very often the first the way you perceive a melody and the way you deliver it first is the best because like for example on Kya Karu, I remember what happened on Kya Karu is Shankar called me up. I was going to go to Purple Haze to their studio to work on some other project and Shankar called me up the evening before and said, can you come an hour early? I just need to need you to sing one song. You just need to present it with your voice and it's a very western kind of song, so just come and sing it. Just do one take because we just need it for presentation. And so I literally learnt it and I just sang it in like 2 takes or something. I just went behind and sang it through. I didn't like really do a take and a month later Sharon calls me up and says do you have some time tomorrow? Yeah, just like four or five lines have been changed on the song that you sang. I was like, which song did I sing? That song which you sang that day in the morning. And I said that was a scratch. That was just like It was because Shankar just wanted me to sing it just for him to feel it and whatever. So I was like, no. She said, no, no, that everyone loves it. They all got used to it and everything. So now they're keeping that take. So I said, okay, let me at least read up the song because let me sing it properly.
Correct.
They said, no, no, no. I mean, like, Shankar insisted that we keep that because it's like, So whatever lines had to be changed, 2 or 3 lines, I just changed, and that's the take that is on the song. It's completely like an early morning thing, and just something that happened. Just heard
Right.
the song, and whatever I felt spontaneously came out.
You, I mean, are very well known in the industry for, I mean, just as a specialist for vocal arrangements. So, in the second part, can we have you telling us about what exactly a vocal arrangement is and how it works?
Yeah, sure.